I've had this stupid smile on my face this whole time.
You get the GT3 had nothing on the, and it's a GT3 RS.
Yeah, with a big aftermarket wing and race tires.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this car is so much fun. It's so much fun.
I told you.
So it's out of gas, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Welcome, everybody, to the next installment of Track Talk. We've got another COVID episode here, so I'm by myself in the car. Don't worry, I'm gonna get the owner of the car to do an interview when we're done in here. So we'll get everything in. So don't worry about that. I'm driving maybe the nuttiest car I've ever driven. I'm just gonna let this car go by here because it's gonna take me a few minutes to get used to this. This is a Volkswagen Jetta Gli, or maybe it was a Volkswagen Jetta Gli. This car is owned by Reto Baumann of Red Panther Motorsports, and he competes in this car in the United States Touring Car Championship in the Super Touring class. And that means this car's pretty fast. You can probably hear the turbo making nice spoolie and blow-off noises. It's still the inline 4-cylinder with turbo. I believe the bottom end is stock, but we'll talk to Reto afterwards and get all the details. Really where this car shines is in the corners. Not to say it's slow. It certainly does not go slowly, but what this car does best, this party trick, is its handling. And that is kind of surprising when you consider what this car is and what it started out, how it began life. I mean, this is the kind of performance-y version of an economy sedan. I mean, yeah, GLIs are fun, but they don't really scream race car. But this one does. Oh, look at this! So we're here at Buttonwillow Raceway with the Speed SF group. Oh my God! It's got so much grip. This car shouldn't be. And that's what I love so much about this thing. I love silly cars. I love ridiculous builds. And this is about as ridiculous as it gets. I mean, it's front-wheel drive. It's got a lot of boost. And it's very, very fast. Little bit of torque steer, a little bit of wheel spin. You got to be just a bit careful coming out of that second gear corner. But I mean, once you get into these mid-speed corners where you can carry some momentum, let the aero help out, get a little bit of that mid-corner rotation, man, this car just comes alive. And it's stiff, as you just saw as I went over that curve there. It's definitely stiff. It's certainly a well-set-up, proper racing car. The turn-in is nutty on this thing. Oh man, now it's been ages since I've driven a front-wheel drive set-up car. And people like to hate on front-wheel drive a lot. I think it's a lot of fun. And there's definitely a lot of history in front-wheel drive motorsports, and certainly some advantages as well. And there are some disadvantages, of course, but there are also some advantages. For instance, the way that the rules are written for US Touring and a lot of other touring car series like the NASA ST series, a front-wheel drive car gets a bonus in horsepower. So it's expected that a front-wheel drive car will have lower corner speed, although I'm not convinced that's the case here. And then they make up for that by giving you a little bonus in your straight line, so that's good. Another advantage is front-wheel drive cars are very stable. So if we're talking about being fast not just for one lap, but being fast throughout the entirety of a race, and that could be a 30-minute sprint race, or that could be a 25-hour endurance race. So this car is going to be stable not just briefly, but all the time. A little bit of ice mode action there. One downside of using a production-based car, you've got production-based componentry like the brake booster and the ABS system. How funny that the car would decide to show that to me while I was talking about how consistent and easy to drive it is. I guess all cars are going to have their quirks, right? So let's talk for just a second about Red Panther Motorsport and about Reto, because what a guy. I've driven some other cars for this series. I have never driven anything like this for this series. The fact that Reto was willing and happy to have me drive this car and talk about it, I can't thank you enough, Reto, because this thing is incredible. I love driving stuff like this. It's not every day. It's not every day that oh, look at that, we've run out of gas. Wow, low fuel is starting to get a little bit of fuel starve, so I'll back it down just a little bit and pull it back in. I don't want to lean it out and melt pistons. Hey, by the way, see that GT3 in front of us with the gigantic wing and the race tires? Yeah, that couldn't get by us. That's how fast this car is. And I know what I'm doing in this car. I'm a noob. I've got no idea what I'm doing. Front wheel drive? How do you do that? I don't know. Jeez. I don't know if you can see the smile on my face because I'm wearing my closed face helmet. I got my full suit and everything on because it's a proper race car, and honestly I probably should be wearing all this stuff all the time, but I decided that it's definitely a good idea to wear it in this one. But geez, I can't even remember what I was talking about. This thing is way too much fun to drive. I love that it exists. I love that it shouldn't exist. Oh, I was talking about Red Panther. I was thanking Reto for being nice enough to have me drive his car, but the whole operation, Red Panther Motorsport, they're just like the most inclusive racing team I've ever seen. Anytime somebody walks by, they get invited in. They get offered food and drinks and just like be part of the team, be friends with us. And it's that kind of attitude that I wish more people had in motorsports. There can be an air of exclusivity all the time with a lot of these, especially the bigger, fancier looking race teams, which Red Panther is one of the bigger, fancier looking race teams. And that exclusivity does not exist with these guys. They are the nicest people, and they want everybody to have a good time. They want everybody to enjoy motorsports, and yeah, it's just the best group of guys. Well, anyway, let's get out of the car. Let's talk to Reto, and we'll look at what makes this thing so special. What makes it go. Reto, I just got out of your car, and I've had this dumb smile on my face the entire time. This car is incredible. Okay, hold on. Reto, this is Reto, by the way. I talked a lot about you while I was in the car, and here's the car. Reto, this car is ridiculous, and I love it. Can you please give us a walk around?
Walk around. All right. It's first and foremost, it's a 2013 VW Jetta 2.0 GLI, stock engine with an MK4 turbo. We have done a few modifications to the car, as you can see. So it has wider fender flares. They come from a company called Clinched Flares. We have added front splitter winglets. Intakes that go to cool the brakes, obviously. We have worked a lot on regulating heat. This bonnet has actually helped us. And then also to regulate heat, we have cut out the pieces here so that the heat can flow directly off the windshield. We have cut the fender flares, and you can see how dirty it gets after Nick Romano drove the car. But we also managed to heat like that. We have side skirts that go all the way to the back. And one of the biggest things about the car, I think, is the current R8 Lms Rear Wing that is mounted directly over the axle, straight over the axle.
So this wing was from an Audi R8 LMS car.
That's correct, yeah.
And it was taken off of that car and put onto a
VW Jetta.
Volkswagen Jetta.
Correct. This is the diffuser, and you can see that the exhaust comes from the top into the diffuser. What we also have done is we try to manage the vibrations and the air that you have on the inside of the car, because in touring cars you have to have the windows open. That means you have air that comes in. A lot of people drill holes into the windows or change those windows to let the air go. We decided to use the air. So that means we barged up the rear seat here so that the air has to go to the rear window along the roof line into the bonnet. inside, sorry, into the boot. Inside the boot, we have air studs that you can see now. Those air studs, when the air comes into the boot, it gets pressurized. Through those air studs, we're actually blowing the cold air directly behind the brakes, and those brakes are then being cooled.
What blows me away about this car is just how much effort has gone into the development. And I've said this 1,000 times, but I love weird cars. Everybody's got an M3, everybody's got an S2000 or a Miata, me included, but nobody has a Jetta. And furthermore, nobody takes a Jetta to this level. I mean, the amount of thought and effort that went into the development of all the aero bits here and drivetrain too, because you had some issues early on.
We did, yeah. We had to work out some kinks. Those kinks mainly came with the previous tuning of the engine, where we didn't have access to the engine tune. So 034 Motorsports is a sponsor of ours, and they're doing the custom tune for us, which is fantastic. They have done such an incredible job to give us more drivability. But another big part of this car is what we have with the Sparta brakes. If you want to come to the front, Sparta actually went the extra mile for us. What they did is a normal 4-piston caliper. They developed one specifically for us at Red Panther Motorsport, and this car with 6 pistons. So you now have the big Sparta Triton brakes with 6-piston calipers.
So those did not exist.
They did not exist. They actually drew them. We had a look at the drawings and everything, and signed off on those together with them. And then they manufactured those calipers and pistons for us.
That's awesome. So I'm not exactly sure when this video is going to go out, but next weekend, currently, you're going to be back here at Buttonwillow.
2 weeks actually.
Oh, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Oh, that's good news for me.
Mid of June, yeah.
That means I got a weekend off. Thank God.
Yeah, but I think if you turn the camera back around to you, there is one question I have for you. Okay. You wanted to drive the car.
I did.
You got the chance.
I did.
We only gave you this smidgest amount of fuel because otherwise you wouldn't come in anymore. But how was it?
It was great. The way that the turbo spools up is excellent. There's a little bit of lag, as there is with any turbo, but it doesn't really affect you. The only place that it might have a little bit of an effect on the way you drive the car is second gear corner, which is off-ramp, and maybe a little bit in the middle of cotton corners. Cotton corners, a little bit of left foot brake, easy. Here, you have to be a little bit patient with the throttle, otherwise it'll spool up and start to spin up the front tires and run you wide. But everywhere else, when you're in third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, it's so planted, it's so stable. I mean, it's got a lot of grip with these tires. The suspension is really well set up. All right, I can't talk and hold the camera at the same time. That's all right. On YouTube, bad is good.
Okay, all right. Which is only relating to his camera work, not to anything else.
But yeah, I mean, the downforce on this car, like this car, 286 horsepower at the wheels.
That's
on the simple tune. That's on the reliability, let's get everything else sorted out tune. Correct. It's going to be about 310 to 350 in that range when it's racing. With that much power going to the front tires, fifth gear, easily flat through Riverside. Do you know what the mile per hour is?
I never actually looked down on the dash. I was too concentrated to hold on to the car.
Yeah. A lot. It's fast. It's fast.
It is flat. Riverside is flat, and the kink up to the to Phil Hill is also flat.
Reto did a 57 earlier today in the heat. By the way, it's pretty hot out right now, and that heat is not good for lap times.
And older tires as well.
Yeah, these hand-cooked tires. They're really fast, but being a race tire, they fall off after a certain number of heat cycles, and these are past their prime. These would just be practice tires at this point. Reto did a 57 out there today. I have absolutely no idea what I did. I don't want to know. I'm sure it was really slow, but I just wanted to experience the car. Reto, thank you for letting me experience the car, and I appreciate what you do, bringing all the positivity that you do to motorsports and grassroots racing and professionalism as well, and being cool enough to let me drive your car.
Yeah, thank you very much. And as we talked before, we'll get another chance where I'm going to scare you.
We'll switch.
I'm going to scare you. You're going to be passenger, and then let's see.
Yeah, and we'll do a real track talk with 2 people in the car, comms and all that. And once we're allowed to do that again.
And then we'll see how long you can hold your breath for 20 minutes out on the track.
It's difficult to hold your breath while conducting an interview. It's hard enough already in a race car, so go easy on me. But anyway, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you to Reto. Thank you to Red Panther Motorsports. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
I always end with one of these. Now we have to wash our hands though, because
Yeah, where's the soap?